Well, hello, Hide and Seek. My name is John Edwards from Hide and Seek Paraquest. If you're a new subscriber or a fellow Hide and Seeker, I would like to welcome you all to another Hide and Seek Paratalk podcast. Now, a difference a week can make. If you are a Hide and Seeker, you would have seen our social platforms. We have had a change to Hide and Seek, and after so many years, we just thought it was time to bring Hide and Seek into the modern era. As much as we loved our old name and our logo, we just felt it was time to bring the branding, because let's face it, it looked like it had been some of our buildings in the past I've investigated. The thing is really that old. So we obviously changed. If you are a fellow Hide and Seeker, you'd have seen on our social media platforms our new branding, which is Hide and Seek Paraquest, Beyond the Realm. So that's how we will be known from now on. Nothing is going to change as far as the team goes. It's purely just to bring the Hide and Seek into the modern era. And yeah, just a nice new fresh outlook on things. So what's going to happen today is we're going to introduce you to a Hide and Seek Paraquest member, and then we'll talk about what's happening with the Hide and Seek moving forward, and then we'll talk about some of the evidence we've caught and so forth. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Kelvin, co-owner of Hide and Seek Paraquest. Hi Kelvin, how are you?
How are you, John?
Yeah, good mate, good. So well, welcome again to the first Hide and Seek Paratalk podcast. Obviously, last week you couldn't make it because you had prior commitments, but it's good to see you here today. Just so the Hide and Seekers getting to know you a lot better, tell us a bit about yourself and what's your background.
Okay, I've been involved with the spiritual world, I suppose you would say, for a very long time. I've got a gypsy background, so crystal balls are big in my world. And my family had gifts, and I noticed that I had gifts too. And I could see things, I could hear things. Things were happening to me that I couldn't explain, and it opened my world. And then I got introduced to you guys in 2007, I think it was, and that opened the door. The light came on, and the rest is history. And here we are.
I think we got a technical issue.
Yeah.
Gee, technology, eh? It caught me last week, and I think it's caught me again. I think we are all good. Yeah, it was. Now, yeah, look, apologies about the technical glitch there. As I said last week, we are still learning, and we'll make sure that next week we are all prepared. So, sorry, Kelvin, I interrupted you there. You say that you got a gypsy background, which is quite funny because my mother's side of gypsies as well, so we've got that common connection, which I never knew for the amount of time I've known you for.
Yes, it is kind of strange. I mean, it's not something that comes up in conversation very often, and when it does, people are normally taken back. When I show photographs of my dad, he's a gypsy. You can see it, and he's olive skinned. My older brother was olive skinned,
yeah,
and I'm not. So my mum was English and my dad was a gypsy. So he was born in the UK, but his parents came from Romania to England. But his parents are pure Romanian, and you could see it. So I'm a half-breed.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. That's very interesting. So what made you get into the paranormal?
Well, it found me. I didn't find it. It found me. And I just found myself, I was able to do things. I was able to see things. People would look at me and I would know what they were thinking, and it was strange. I thought it was just a natural thing that I could do. And after a period of time, when other stuff started to happen, I had doors opening and closing and all kinds of stuff happening to me. I mean, even in the house where I live now, I will be sitting here. My door is deadlocked at the moment, and I've been here with friends, and it just opens, unlocks, and just opens itself.
Okay.
So, when things like that happen to you a lot, you start to think, well, what's going on? So I started to investigate myself, and that was it. I ended up going and, learning how to use the skills, and that was very interesting. So, and the more I got into it, the more I learned, the more I understood about it, the stronger it got. So, and that was it. And I was in then. I couldn't stop it.
I guess it's once it's in your blood, you just want to keep on going. Yeah, especially when we first started way back in 2005. We the likes of J Wood over there at jail and the old Melbourne jail.
Yes.
We went to many places. Went to Castlemaine Theatre, Beechworth jail.
Yeah.
We were all over there, basically everywhere between Victoria and New South Wales.
That's it.
And I guess, we took a short break, life got in the way, we all have families and whatnot. And for years we talked about, rejoining and getting Hide and Seek Paranormal back up there.
Yeah.
So, it was quite funny because I spoke to a few people probably, 2-3 months ago, and people were saying, get back into it. It was very interesting watching your episodes and so forth. And it got to a time where it was like, let's do it. But what I'm more excited about this time round is we can put to practice everything that we learned last time.
Right.
But the most thing that excites me is that, between the pair of us and we're taking this thing international, and that's what excites me.
Yeah.
There's so many.
Going overseas. Wow. That's gonna be it.
Oh, it's it. I spent the past week and a half talking to different location managers around the world. Australia, America, UK. Obviously England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. And what makes it fascinating? Like, obviously we're both from England. Sometimes you think, I wish I was back there because the locations are just so close together.
Yes.
Over here. We've got to plan ahead and plan it well because the travel distance to get there. So it's not a case of let's jump in the car and go.
It's also the age of things too. I mean, Australia isn't as old as the UK, and there are buildings there that are. I mean, the house I lived in the UK was 400 years old, and I left there 40 years ago. So
it's quite funny because when you're in Melbourne, say you with friends having drinks or dinner or whatnot, to go, this place is quite old, and you look at it and think, well, not really. Obviously, it is for Australia, but for when you come from UK, whole different backstory,
Yeah.
So I guess, what's this? I think it's time to open our phone lines. So if anyone is out there who've got a paranormal tale to share with us, we would love to listen to your story. So our phone line's now open. You can call us on 03 9132 9817, or if you're overseas, it's +61 39 132 9817. We would love to hear your stories. So going back to where we were back in 2005 to where we are now, the planning and organisation is one thing, but what really excites me as well is the modern technology that's available now.
Yeah,
it weren't there back then. Like if you remember back in 2005, I remember with the old co-founder, we would spend hours and hours on the internet because there's no Google, there was no Facebook, there was no YouTube. So I think by memory we were searching. I think it was Yahoo or 9MSN. It'll take forever to get anywhere. But the technology and the internet at the moment is certainly a godsend, and it does help us. But as far as the equipment goes, we've got so much more high tech equipment now. It's very, very exciting.
Yeah. Well, our ability to measure now is so much better, and to bring what we consider to be as real a data as we can. So, without, we don't want any, falsification, if you like. So the more scientific stuff we can bring to the party, the better, because we will be able to back up the things that like what you can feel is one thing, but you can't prove that.
Absolutely. And that's one thing I'm glad you touched on is this, the fake stuff that's happening. One thing that we strive on and we're proud of is we will never, ever post-edit a fake activity or a fake haunting or a fake picture. We just refuse to do it. It's not fair on the owners of the location. It's not fair on our viewers because our viewers want to know the truth, and that's why we got into paranormal in the first place. Is to investigate the unknown of what so many people are in search of. So
that's it.
I would sooner sit in an old building for 3, 5, 6, 10, 12, 24 hours, as long as it takes. And if nothing happens, it's like, okay, we've investigated it. We can go back another time.
Yeah. And if you, there are many places that are supposed to have activity, and you go there and they just don't.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. Not everywhere has a spirit in it or any kind of energy at all. It's just a building.
Yeah. And it is what it is. And and I say you see so many different paranormal investigations out there, especially because I love watching YouTube and looking at the channels of paranormal investigators. Because we're always learning, especially for new locations, especially for our international trip anyway. And there's so many out there where you just look at it and and that's up to them. That's their channel, that's how they want to go. But there's no way I'm gonna we're gonna do post edit because it's not fair on our viewers. And the original hide and seekers know that we will not fake anything.
That's it. Anyone that has seen anything we've ever done, it's real. And if it's not, there is no point in making something up. It'll come back and bite you anyway. The technology we have now to capture it, there is just as much technology out there to prove it wrong. So trying to do something that's not real is just a joke.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not what we're in it for, and I'm not going to waste our time doing it.
No.
Now, just on that, with it, the way we're going to try and do it, the format is obviously we'll do the investigation. If we get anything that we think's interesting, we will show it. If we get anything that we think's interesting and after looking at it, we actually debunk it ourselves, we'll also say that as well. It's like this photograph here when we went to the Chiton Theatre with Chiton Paranormal. So again, thank you, Dolly, from Chiton Paranormal for inviting us on that location. I'll take your memory back where we were setting packing up our equipment about to leave.
Yeah.
And the lights kept on coming on.
That's right.
I know that there was 2 ladies at the top, as you can see there, and they were doing a method.
Yeah.
Now, I know for a fact that there was no one on that sandbox because I went up there.
Yeah.
I went up there, and I think Steve followed me there. Followed me up. And there was on there, and even Dolly from Chiton Paranormal went up there as well. Yeah. But when we were coming back and we took the photo, it's strange that we got that picture up there. And then there was another one, which was where are we? That's the one. So this one here was quite interesting as well because if you look on the stairs coming out the sandbox, to the right of the top of your head, you see it looks like a female.
Yes.
Now, I said to Dolly, can you recognise anyone out that group that evening that was wearing that sort of, it looked like a Mexican poncho? She said no. So look, I'm not saying that's paranormal at all. It could be just a moment where we've missed someone going up there. But it's quite interesting, it's quite interesting, but I certainly wouldn't put that down as having any paranormal evidence, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the one thing that I will say 100% back as paranormal is when we were way back in, I think it was 2006, we were at the old Melbourne jail.
Yes.
That's one thing that I will say is 100% Paranormal, because we had the camera locked off in the
that's right.
in the gallows.
Yeah.
Opposite the gallows, there was no human up there, so there was human contamination was eliminated. It was
Yeah,
locked
that's right.
off.
There was no one near the camera.
Yeah,
At all.
and we didn't see
For
it
the whole night, there was no one there.
for sure, and we didn't see it until obviously we were going through the footage.
Yeah. And it was days later. Days later.
Oh, and I think I touched base on this last week's episode. The reason it takes so long to find something, if you found something at all, is because the amount of footage we take on an investigation is you know, it takes weeks to go through it all. And that comes back to the point made before about technology. You know, back then we were using handycams that had mini DV tapes.
Yeah.
Now it's all SD cards, so it's a lot easier to transfer onto computer and actually go through your footage, you know. But I'll quickly show you, and I'll play it to you. Was what we caught in the Melbourne jail. And look, if you got a comment, we'd love to hear it. Type your comment in the box and let us know what you think of it. But as far as I'm concerned, it can only be a hanging. And just on that, I have actually got the original mini DV tape. So if anyone does want to question it, they're more than welcome to look at it. I'm not obviously going to send it off, but you can see that there's no editing talk. It's mini DV tape. Can't do it. I'll quickly show you now. You know, it's I think the evidence is there. You know, it's not a case of it's people go, oh, it could be just the way the camera is. There could have been a flash in the building and it's picked it up, or you know, it could be a figure or whatever. Well, if that was the case, obviously I've got that looped so you can see it. But if that was the case, well then it would be there on every frame in the video. But it's not. I know that obviously we've got our camera on the left hand side, but before that hanging takes place, it's actually a bit of a light source or an energy source, and that's when you get the what looks like a manifestation of a hanging. I'll see if I can get the light source for you.
Well, originally that flash was bypassed because it was like a flash of light. I mean, it's just a flash.
Yeah.
It wasn't until, like I say, days later that the actual picture was discovered.
Yeah.
So that flash was basically all there was. And well, oh, don't worry about it, that's just a flash of light.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's interesting. That's one of the most convincing pieces of evidence I've actually caught. On camera, that is. You know, the most the most chilling evidence I've actually caught and witnessed firsthand is when we were in Barwon Park, which obviously we're going back there in 2 weeks' time, which I'm quite apprehensive about, but very excited about the same time as well. So yeah, that's that's the difference between what could be paranormal. So you look at those, and then you look at the hanging. It's chalk and cheese. So the hanging, I say, that's 100%. But yours, I just put that in I'm not sure basket.
That's right. That's right.
What's your thought on that?
Well, there are many times. I mean, we've got lots. There's a really good one from the Castlemaine Theatre, where there's a person sitting in the back row, if you remember, and no one knows who it is, and it looks a little bit like what's I can't think of the character, the Elephant Man.
Okay, yes, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, and it's sort of right in the very back row. We've got two investigators sitting like 3 seats away, and they said there was no one sitting next to them. But you know, we've looked at it and gone, it might be, but we don't know. And if we're not 100% sure, we're not willing to back it up. We don't say it is.
Yeah, for sure. But what was that place called again?
It was a castle, mate. It was a theatre.
It was
Used to be a movie theatre.
Yeah, the Theatre Royal.
Yes.
I remember that now. That was and that was interesting because I remember I think there was a fire at the premises, and
Yes.
yeah, there was claims that people that passed away in the fire.
Yeah, they died in the fire. That's right.
Yeah, that was another interesting investigation as well, and hopefully we can try and get back there in the coming months.
Yeah, well, we might. It'll be good to do it again with better technology. If we can go to the places that we've already been and revisit them with better technology, it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, and that's what's exciting now. We've done all the legwork. We're back out there. Hide and Seek Paraquest are here to stay. But from next week, we start filming for our new series.
That's right.
That's right. The month of June, we've got two free investigations booked. And then we've got July. We got a couple in July, and then we'll probably do 2 or 3 in September.
Yes.
And then we'll probably focus then October, November. We'll probably focus on our international tour, getting all the right places booked in for our first ever international Hide and Seek Paraquest tour, which is I'm so excited.
Just next year it's all happening.
Yeah, it's a big year next year for Hide and Seek, especially with the Conjuring Home, and you got the Queen Mary Shape, the Sally House. There's just so many out there, which is it's quite exciting, and it's great to have that opportunity as well.
The thing is trying to fit them in. I mean, we're going to need 6 months over there. I mean, we haven't got 6 months, but there are so many to go and see.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think we'll probably do 2 trips over there next year. And I guess it all comes down to our hide and seekers. If our hide and seekers want us to get out there and do it, constantly, it's good that we got the support from them, and it showed you because obviously when we had the whole Hide and Seek Paranormal research, again we didn't have YouTube, and unfortunately, like I've still got all the tapes from back then, but a lot of it we can't use, or I won't use because it's just not exciting enough footage to put out there.
That's right.
So we had to start from fresh, and we're getting quite a lot of regular comebacks on our main YouTube. Instagram's going well, but our Facebook page is going well as well. So I do thank our Hide and Seek followers, because obviously without them,
without them, we're nothing.
Absolutely, it's not worth putting our time and effort out there. So again, if you got anyone that wants to share their story, our phone lines are open. 039132 9817. We love to hear your stories. If you don't want to be on live, you can always email us, which at this stage it's still Hide and Seek Paranormal Research at gmail.com. And we'll obviously come back. We'll read it over the next podcast and go from there. Now, just on the up and coming podcast, we are in the process of speaking to quite a few people in Australia and also international. So we got some big names lined up, and it'd be interesting to actually speak with them and get first hand of what they've been through, because we're planning on going, they've been, which I'm quite jealous on, to be honest with you. But again, it comes down to the location. It's just easy for them to jump on a car or jump on a plane, and within half an hour or an hour they're in a different state. It's a bit harder over here.
Yeah, just a bit. Just a bit.
Absolutely.
We normally average 2 hours to a location, minimum.
Oh, absolutely. And then it's 2 hours driving there, but the time it takes to actually get prepared.
Oh wow!
To get in that car and go.
You start preparing at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And then you leave at midday or whatever it is to get out there, so you've got light to film.
Absolutely,
but, mate. It's basically 24 hours. You devote 24 hours to an investigation. That's it.
It's and I guess it comes down to Hide and Seek Paraquest as well, because we're not just going to go there with a handycam. No. We've got high end production equipment. which we will open and close the show with. We got high-end night vision cameras. Plus we got the DSLR camera, which will be static cameras. So we're hoping to catch as much angle as possible, because we're not going to get, I'll rephrase that. The chances of us capturing something on our held hand camera all the time is not going to happen.
That's right.
You know, we could be in a hallway, or we can be separated in different rooms, and then we could hear a knock, or we can hear footsteps on our, obviously with our ears. The camera's not going to pick it up. But if we can have static cameras, especially if we're separated in different rooms, it'd be ideal to have a camera on the hallway or the stairway or wherever it is, because that way we're not going to say, oh, what's that? And then, oh, we can't show it because we got no footage.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, the more cameras we've got, the more chance we've got of capturing evidence.
Yeah.
And it just gives it another angle for our viewers as well. And another thing as well, obviously with the way technology is, you know, there's, even though that we will be doing with our night vision camera, we will always, well, not always, but we are going to do YouTube live as well. So our hide and seekers have got the opportunity to be there with us. And if they see anything, they can communicate with us via the chat, and we will send an investigator out there and check it out. That's what I'm excited about. Going on like YouTube live, so they can physically be there with us over the screens.
That's right. And if we do see something and it's live, then that's it. It is live, and you can't make that up. I mean, there can't be a post edit. It's live. It's real. Yeah,
absolutely. And that debunks how, you know, as you say, post edit that takes that away. And there's so many people out there that have got different levels of technique, or, you know, the different levels of psychic ability. So we may be there and not see anything, but our viewers may certainly well be able to see it or even hear, because obviously there's all different realms of you know, psychic and clairvoyance and so forth. But yeah, no, I'm very excited, and look, I thank you very much for joining me today.
No problem, mate.
And we will catch up on.
We'll be doing it again.
Oh, absolutely, every Wednesday, 7 p.m. But yeah, we will catch up on Friday for our first shoot.
Yes.
And then we will obviously head out again the following weekend to our second, absolutely, another location. And yeah, let's get this thing cracking. So again, Hide and Seekers, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for all our new subscribers. Your support does mean the world to us, because, as I say, without our Hide and Seekers behind us, we're just not going to get to where we want to get to.
That's exactly right.
So, well, Kelvin, thank you so much for joining me this evening, and we will catch up again next week at 7 p.m.
See you next week.
Awesome. Take care now.
All right. Bye, mate.
Well, bye. So there you have it. That concludes our second episode of Hide and Seek Paratalk. I hope you enjoyed it. Please, if you got any comment at all, whether the bad, the good, the ugly, we don't care. We are a community, so please jump on, place a comment, and we'll certainly read them and go through them. Thank you again for joining in. My name's John Edwards, and I'll speak to you next week.